Dr. Seaman.
Wait, what was that?
Here's a letter that I wrote to Dr. Seaman.
Yeah.
And it says, Dear Dr. Seaman, well actually the heading, it says USA Northwest Passage Chapter.
Oh yeah.
Temple 13.
All right.
And it says, Dear Dr. Seaman, we have confirmed arrangements for your talk on the avant-garde group Anismo at Mother Foucault's bookshop during the second week of October 2012. The bookshop owner, Craig Florence, who can be reached, and I put his phone number, expressed to me his great interest in your proposed talk on Innism. Members of the Portland Innis group, Northwest Passage Chapter, Temple 13, Robert Hand Ferry, Jason Miller, and myself greet your trip to Portland to discuss from a historical and scholarly angle Anismo with great enthusiasm. I have yet to receive word from Dr. Ferrua, Doug Ferran, and Lex Loeb about their response to your talk, but anticipate their participation. Actually, since I wrote the letter, Dr. Ferrua did respond and said that he would, try to come to the event.
Oh.
Please let me know any specifics with regards to the press release for this event and other events you're planning during your visit. Please find below my address and the bookstore's address. Looking forward to your talk. For any USA, Paul Lambert. So I sent him that this past week, and he replied that he was happy to, he was glad to get that. Here's another letter, and this letter is like from 2000, September 2000. And it's to the Honorable John M. Bennett, curator of the Avant Writing Collection at the Ohio State University Library. Sir, it's my heart filled a floor with happiness to hear that Clive's back. I know you hate me and want to wreck my life, but when I read that Clive is alive and with you in your office, the waterworks began. It has been so long since he departed. I could not believe my eyes to see his name in your missive. When Bumstead, who was in Clive's service before he went to work for my family, heard the news, he drew his saber and thrashed a houseplant in an effort to control his emotions. You know, I've never seen him in such a state. It's with great sadness, but we all agree it is time to have him put down. So torn by the loss of our faithful man Bumstead, when we gain back Clive, despite the glorious news, this tragedy has caused me to place the village off limits to the household staff. We are worried that one of the others may break also and result in some horrible incident, such as before when we had the awful problems with Burns. So shocked and affected are we all here at the NEUSA Research Library and Archive with the sudden reappearance of Clive, but enough backstairs gossip. Now the sad days, all those long years bereft of his presence are behind us, and happy days are ahead. Clive is back. Thank God, what glorious news you bring to our house. John, please advise him of our most sincere wish to share with him our good fortune, and that we long to see him again, each and every one of us Innists. Joy, sir, great joy, and thank you. Your most fervent and devoted servant, Paul Thaddeus Lambert, NEUSA, King of the American Innist Movement. So that's like a letter to Dr. Bennett at
And who's
Ohio State.
who's Clive?
Clive is some fellow that used to work at the Museum of Modern Art named Clive Philpott. And he was a librarian there. And Dr. Bennett told me that he showed some of the his Innis material that he got for me to this fellow, and that the fellow had been, expressed interest in the Innis group. So,
Speaking of which,
speaking of which,
how about there's some people who don't know much about INI or INI USA, and maybe you could tell a little bit of how that got started.
well, it just so happens that I flipped to this report to the director,
Okay,
which might open up,
all right.
answer some of those questions. At this time, I was a director of the Lex Loeb Research Library and Archival Institute, which we later folded into the INI USA Library and Archival Institute,
Mm-hmm.
or Library and Archive. This is Documenti Importante El Paolo Lamberto, and director of the Lex Loeb Research Library and Archival Institute, Portland, Oregon, and the former board chairman of the UFO Museum, and corresponding coordinator of INI USA, and it's the agenda, research agenda of the library and archive. Libro e Piccolo Insetto, and that's 1981 to 1995, 1949 to 1953, which was an earlier project. That was followed by 1954 to 1968, and there was one that encompassed just 1 year in 1973. Then there's a Libro, a concrete pressure test, which took place in 1993 to 1995, and the Libro, a testing miscellaneous, which took place in 1970 to 1995. This document's actually from 1995. The consultante for the Libro e Piccolo Insetto was Fred Piano Pesco, and Libro, a concrete pressure test, was Dave Hackett of Terratile, and the coordinator internationale was Flavio Donini, film artist from Rome, who was a former member of the, Italian Annis group. So that's the title page. So this is the activity of the Lex Loeb Research Library and Archive in Portland, Oregon. In the agenda, the testing of the Libro e Piccolo Insetto, 1981 to 95, 1949 to 53, 1954 to 1968, and 1973. Number one, perforations, drillings, stabbings. Please also see cut-ups. These were research activities with books in the library.
Yeah.
Grindles, which involves the grinding. Number three is noxious fumes, insertals, and removals. Number four is concrete pressure test, and technique of success, high initial failure rate, emergency archival additions, C, automatic opera withdrawal system, UFO Museum, Portland, emergency vivisection, archival holdings. That was like cutting some of these books in half, or art pieces. Prior to the technique of success, the success was limited. The goals of these testing projects of research is the access of entry libro e piccolo insetto, access of exit libro e piccolo insetto, activities of piccolo insetto e libro. Positive and negative effects, number 3. Number 5, ancillary activities within the Institute, little birds, plants, people, effect of heat, e libro, effect of aqua, e libro, field trials to be carried out in different time zones in the vicinity of Portland, in the vicinity of Concrete, Washington, in Italy, and through the UFO Museum in outer space. So, I don't know, just right now I could show you a couple examples, if you don't mind. You want to see like one of these drill books?
Sure.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see the where the pages have been drilled,
Oh yeah.
but this book is thoroughly drilled. It's a book about
Oh.
punk rock,
Oh right. Yeah, I've seen that book.
and my idea was, instead of just having the books, you know, in the library, that we could take the books and prepare, you know, places in the yard and bury the books, and then each of these little voids, it would be like an apartment building for little bugs in the yard, and they could live in the books
Oh yeah.
and have a bug life, you know, the mom and dad bug, the baby bug, Insetto Bambini, I think might be the Italian, but, and then I think we had some other books that we did some research on. I think we did this at your apartment when you lived above the Commodore. I don't remember if you remember, but
Oh yeah.
it's a bootleg of the Letter Symposium proceedings, and it's actually hasn't been drilled yet, but it's basically, we've subverted it to convert it to the INIST program by going through it and making various additions. I think this is one of your, no, maybe it isn't. I think it, what's that? Is that a Portland Idiot?
Oh, that's a Portland Idiot.
Yeah. So it has, yep, 1998, number 42, the Portland Idiot. So anyway, Inism, anytime, anywhere, will be there. 1949, 1999. Thanks for Mini USA. Hello. Yearbook for 1897. So I think several of us contributed. Textland, Any World, to the Subversion, Any Bob's Big Sunday Off, Carthage, Queen, Dido, pubic wars, sacrifice our children, Eenie Bob. What's that? That looks like a card. But anyway, it's best of luck after graduation, Eenie Bob USA. I'm not quite sure. That looks like more breakthrough stuff. Look, love. Don't you love it? I don't know if you remember when we made this. Eenie Howdy, the Red River, Eenie Bob Pizza, and the red wine of Abruzzi. Actually, it probably should be Abruzzi. So, the washer, Irmuz. Now it's getting clearer. Now do you understand? Bob, what does inism mean for America? Norte. You know, the USA, below Canada, above Mexico. Paul, where do you mean? It's Bob, here. Paul, what do we know about inism in America? Bob, yes, that is the question. What is inism? Paul, what do you think, Bob? The washer. You want to go look at the washer? From Bob's apartment. What are those? Beans? Landlords and managers. Boat bound for the Gulf of Darius. Riots. Hooray. I think I misspelled hooray. Ole, bravo. Cornflakes, Paris. 1969, flames. Rabbit or sheep sausages, dyed red. Boy, they were good. So I'd eat at little Arab, North African, Algerian fast food places. They had better fries than McDonald's. But anyway, this is something related to this fellow, M. Brutini.
Yeah.
He didn't understand American chili. See, that was his question, not what is any. His question was, what is chili? What is chili? Also, I think chili's misspelled. But actually, I think the Texas theme might be this Junior Oregon State Police badge. And here we have Jason and Lex and Bob and Paul. You want to go check the laundry?
Sure. This is one of your primary NS activities.
Yeah, laundry.
Yeah, it reminds me I have to do some when I go home.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that this washer, it's actually been with me quite a long time, that it continues to function. Only I've got like a little problem because for some reason, but maybe they'll stop, but I don't know if they'll ever stop. I think my relatives have decided that one of my main things that I need is towels.
Oh, yeah.
So they always give me towels at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so many towels now. Actually, to do these towels, I'm almost out of towels upstairs. I've done 3 loads. That's quite a few. See, these are towels that are already been cleaned.
Yeah.
So, you know, because you get some every Christmas, over a period of years, eventually you end up with quite a few towels. Here's a Lex painting. I wanted to put it on this chair. And evidently these are people in glass houses.
Yeah.
And he has a little text on the back that says, people without clothes, actually evidently they're nude people in glass houses. People without clothes should not wear glass houses. So that's a different take on, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Right.
Now I guess we could return to the,
Upstairs.
I just was washing this stuff.
Lead on.
So here's a poem that I wrote on the 4th of July of this year.
All right.
It's called the Canaanite Trilogy. Last night as I sat watching on TV a historical drama based on World War I called MASH, I felt and then saw a little tiny ant crawl across my arm onto the table and into my pepper grinder. Tonight I checked and the ant is still there. I closed my eyes and thanked the Lord that I hadn't put the pepper on my evening's meal. Chipped beef on toast, a typical World War I repast, as I try my best to recreate Canaanite culture in America. You know how there's Willamette and Willamette
Yeah.
and Lake Oswego and Lake Oswego
Yeah.
and the Caribbean and the Caribbean? Is there Canaanite and Canaanite? Along the Pacific coast side of the USA, deep in the mystic regions of the Northwest Passage, on the steps of Temple 13, I hear faintly in the distance a rhythmic pounding, the sensation. I feel the vibrations, energizing my feet and legs, and begin to dance, swaying backward and forward as I prepare to step into the unknown and spy a large attack poodle cradled by 2 young women, neither of whom are my 2 wives, or 2 girlfriends, or 2 neighbors, but 2 unknown tourists visiting from Hawaii, searching for an Indian casino, or better yet, Las Vegas. One lady told me her husband, or boyfriend, or girlfriend, or wife had left her suddenly for another. Of course, I was concerned. When she told me he or she or them had met some other person or new loved one on the internet, no, not again, I cried. In World War I, many couples and pets spent up to and including, by the way, longer than a year separated from their loved ones, and only slowly recovered their upholstery in plastic, fabric, leather, and turned to the next available person or pet, such as I did, when undulating, rolling, jumping. I saw the look of burning passion in my gardener's eye, but grew to doubt his love when he left his earmuffs and leaf blower on as we sweatily embraced. the Canaanite, or Canaanite, or whatever it's called, trilogy. It's, for some reason, I thought of this when my sister, she was having a picnic, 4th of July picnic, and so as my relatives chatted around me, this is what was running through.
Inspiration comes from anywhere.
Well, I don't know why I would ever think of that Canaanite trilogy. That doesn't. And you know, I think I looked that up, and there's like there's a book. You know, there is a trilogy, like
Oh, yeah.
it's a religious trilogy. I saw one in here that I like.